Back to Citizen Extra. Many thanks indeed for staying with us. Now, the National Super Alliance has been dealt a blow in its plan to swear in its principals, that's Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, as People's President and Deputy President after the Nairobi County Government announced the closure of Uhuru Park Grounds. That closure should be effective today. So let's get an update now from our man on the ground, Makori Ongechi. Makori, good morning. You're at Uhuru Park. What is happening around you? Can Kenyans access that venue today?
Very good morning to you, Wahiga. Like you've said, I'm coming live to you from Uhuru Park. Yes, the ban or the move by the county government of Nairobi to direct that this particular place was to remain closed as from yesterday seems not to have been implemented yet, because right now the activities at Uhuru Park seems to be normal. This looks like a normal day at Uhuru Park, and we've talked with some of the hawkers and business vendors within these grounds, telling us that they are not even aware of that directive by the county government that was to take effect yesterday. Now remember, Wahiga, this is the same venue that the opposition alliance, that the National Super Alliance, had previously hinted that they will be using in the planned swearing in ceremony for their leader, that's Raila Odinga. Also remember that on the same day, that is 30th of this month, that's next week on Tuesday, there are other two groups that had booked this particular venue, that is a church and also a group identified as the Nairobi business community. And Wahiga, as to whether the move by the county government to issue that directive was a tactical move, probably to lock out NASA from going on or pursuing their planned swearing in ceremony, it's a question that time will tell us, because right now it seems not to have been implemented. Actually, if my cameraman could show you around, there seems that the activities around is quite a normal day at Uhuru Park. There are business people, there are the public passing across here, and therefore we cannot say that really that ban has been implemented yet, Wahiga.
Park, so you don't see increased security, you don't see sort of any city council or Nairobi County staff there, because these renovations should, at least have started to take effect?
Well, Wahiga, the only staff that we've seen at Uhuru Park here maybe are those guys that are cleaning this particular place, but for the security officers, we've not spotted any. And even as we got a smooth flow in, as we drop in, we cannot say that we've seen any presence of security officers probably trying to implement that directive, Wahiga.
Makori Ongechi for that update from Uhuru Park. You say you're able to easily access it now. As to whether that will happen next week Tuesday, we'll just have to wait and see. Well, from Nairobi County, we now want to bring you images of a very sad series of events that took place last night in Kisumu County. We know that 3 people lost their lives and others were injured after an oil tanker collided with a tuk-tuk in Kisumu's business district. What happened thereafter is that residents scrambled for fuel, leading to chaotic scenes, and at the end of it all, 3 had lost their lives and of course others have been injured. This truck was headed to Uganda before that particular incident happened last night. So these are some of the images that we are now bringing to you from last night. You can see a rescue team there sort of trying to salvage and pull away, and you can see the flow of oil now probably mixed with water and other refuse from that tanker that leaked the oil after that particular collision. What is worrying, however, is despite and in spite of the danger, residents still unafraid, still very bold to go and attempt to siphon fuel from this tanker, and that is definitely something that the county government there will need to address to ensure that should another accident of a similar nature happen there, that no lives will be lost in the initial confusion.
Where it has fell down, it lost control after hitting this bump. Then it veered off the road to the other side of the road from Kisumu to Aero direction. In the process, it hit a tuk-tuk it hit a tuk-tuk which was heading to higher direction from Kisumu. So far, 2 female adults have perished with a toddler, 1-month-old toddler. In the hospital, 5 people were seriously injured, 1 female and 4 men. They are being treated at County Hospital in Kisumu and Jaramogi Oginga Referral Hospital.
Well, that is what transpired last night. Our condolences to the family and friends of those who lost their lives in that very unfortunate incident. Now, from Kisumu County, we take you to Kwale County, where a section of Kinondo location residents have come up with an initiative of identifying students who are supposed to join Form 1 but are still at home due to various reasons. To get better details on this initiative and some of the worrying statistics around Form 1 intake in Kwale at the coast, let's talk to Nikki Gitonga. Nikki, good morning. Tell us about this initiative that residents have come up with and how they plan to carry it out.
Thank you very much, Waiga Mwaura. We are at Mwabungo Primary School here in Kinondo, Msambweni Sub-County, Kwale County. We are aware that CS Matiangi, the last 2 weeks, he launched a campaign, Peleka Watoto Shuleni, and actually, especially at the coastal counties, where the number of students who had turned up to join Form 1 was not good. And here at Kinondo, we have some members of the public who have started an action plan to ensure that a number of students are going back to school. With the numbers, yesterday I was given a report by the local chief here, Ali Riga. He said actually over 200 students so far as we speak have not yet reported to school. And right now I'm joined by one of the members of the Kinondo Action Plan. Is going to tell us how that initiative, whether it has been successful so far as we speak. Maybe Mr. Barrow, you can kindly tell us more about that initiative.
Okay, my name is Mahmoud Barrow. I'm the coordinator of Kinondo Action Plan. It's a community initiative looking at issues bedeviling our ward, Kinondo ward. And one of the things we saw is the standard of education. Most of the students, most of the pupils have pulled out of school because of the poverty level. So as an initiative, we have come up with a formula to assist some of the students to get some essentials so that they can be able to go to school. Yeah.
So how is it going to be possible? You know, some of the students might not be that needy and may end up helping them. What's the criteria of helping such students?
Okay, we have a formula because we are from Kinondo and we understand those pupils, those students are also from Kinondo. So we have membership from all corners of Kinondo ward. So we know them. So it's a matter of vetting them and know the needy students so that we can be able to pull our resources together. And we have no funding at all, but we use our own pockets to enable us take Kinondo students to school.
How many so far have you helped?
Four of them. But we have about 10 who are still who still need our assistance, and we call upon sponsors and well-wishers to help us so that we can be able to send these children back to school. Yeah.
Okay, I also have maendeleo ya wanawake. Pengine mama utueleze mbona watoto hapa hawaendi shule?
Mimi kama mama na kama mzazi ambaye mimi ni mama wa maendeleo ya wanawake. Nimechunguza nikaona swala la watoto kutoenda shule ni kwa sababu mizigo mingi imeachiwa kina mama. Wakina baba wamejiepusha na masuala ya watoto. Kwa hivyo wakina mama wamekuwa wazazi peke yao. Kwa hivyo watoto wengi wanashindwa kwenda shule kwa sababu kuachiwa kina mama. Na upande mwingine pia umaskini unachangia. Hatuna kazi, hatuna biashara, ndio watoto wamekaa sana nyumbani. Sasa sisi kama Kinondo Action Plan tumeona tuingie kwa mifuko yetu, tuchangie wale watoto ambao hawana wazazi, hawajiwezi. Kwanza mtoto mmoja alikuwa wa mama asiyejiweza, mama ambaye hasemi ni bubu, hata baba wa mtoto hamjui. Ndio tukaona tumchangie na tumpeleke. Kwa sasa hivi tumepeleka watoto 4 na bado kuna watoto ambao bado wanatungojea, na sisi pia mifuko inaenda chini. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kama tutapata wenzetu watusaidie, tutafurahi sana, manake hatutaki watoto wabaki nyumbani. Tunajua hao ndio viongozi wa kesho wa Kinondo.
Thank you. We have Madam Deputy Principal here. Wants to know whether her school has, whether it has taken any student to high school, and whether do you have any student that have reported to school so far?
Yes, so far my school 2017 we had 29 pupils. Those who went to school, there are 26. It's only 3 who are needy. They need our assistance, and from parents who are helping us with the group here we have, they are helping us so that the other children should go to school.
Maybe what's the reason why those 3 are not yet to have not reported to school?
Okay, so far we have been told that the 3 of them did not go to school because of they are poor. They are becoming from a needy family. So we need well-wishers to help those children. They are having 300 and above marks, and they are still at home. Yes.
Thank you. Waiga, those are some of the views from the Kinondo Action Plan here at Kwale County. We have realized that something that has made some of the students not to go to school, it's poverty. Poverty is hampering some of our students not to report to school, and we hope maybe the government is going to put up some measures to ensure that every student gets the basic right of having education. Back to you, Waiga.
Okay, thank you, Nikki Gitonga, for that. We certainly hope that some of the issues around there that prevent Form 1 students from going to school will be sorted out by that initiative, and of course, with what the government and the county government are doing as well. Let's now switch gears and talk matters Parliament. The Jubilee Party yesterday, in one of the big stories, stamped its authority as 4 defiant MPs were kicked out of 4 parliamentary committees. The MPs were dethroned following an order by President Uhuru Kenyatta after they defied the party's position on regional balance. Now, the legislators, however, accused their colleagues of allowing the executive to interfere with Parliament's independence. Sam Ogina recaps yesterday's events in Parliament.
I was not in the memo. What was the reason? Can you tell us before you respond?
It was a showdown as the embattled Jubilee leaders fought to survive an onslaught from within.
He's not an elected member. You're wasting my time. Order.
The 4 dethroned from their respective departmental committees for defying a party position on regional balance, a verdict cascading from State House.
Let us not be part of people who want to preside over a collapse of this institution so that we become an annex of the executive.
The die had been cast, but Keter went down in a ferocious battle.
We are not going to be people waiting to receive instructions from elsewhere. This is Parliament. We are elected leaders, and we must be allowed to exercise our democratic rights. We have people we are leading outside there. What are we going to tell them? That we were given money to come here and change our minds? I understand part of the reason is that some members here were advised to say, some members here were saying, you are out of order, you are a heckler. Yeah. You are a non-heckler.
Order. Non-heckler. You are non-heckler. Order, my friend. Order. You have always been on the road.
The Constitution is supreme than any other law. You can't follow standing order.
You are a witness.
The same people advising you are the same people who deleted my name in the list of the Larson Committee, where I was a member. I was duly elected on 23rd of December. You cannot come and sit here and start imagining that you can give a professional advice. It is wrong. You are part of the problem that we are trying to solve here.
The standoff occasioning a 5-minute break that saw Jubilee's top brass in Parliament to monitor developments from within the committee room. Despite the pleadings, Keter lost 10 votes to 0. While Moiben MP Silas Terrain was ousted as the Agriculture Committee Chair with 12 votes against 1. Embakasi North MP James Gakuya stepped down from Parliamentary Broadcast and Library Committee Chairperson.
People who are supporting the vote of no confidence.
Despite braving the storm, Marakwet East MP Kangogo Bowen lost the Vice Chairmanship Environment and Natural Resources with 10 votes to 1.
I want to affirm my support with this committee that I will be participating and contributing and oversighting as a member of Parliament of Marakwet East and also a member of this committee. We will work together with whoever you will vote as a new vice chair.
After the high drama in a flurry of media conferences, it was accusation and counter-accusations, with the Jubilee leadership describing the victory as deserved to restore party discipline.
We will not allow any of our members to disfranchise our rank and file members in Jubilee. In government, we will have the principle of equity. In parliamentary leadership, we have the principle of equity.
If you look at the membership in the entire committee, it represents different areas. So when you talk about balancing from regions or ethnic balancing, it does not really make sense, I would say.
The National Assembly now awaits the liaison committee to sit and issue dates when the 4 committees will conduct fresh elections.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have been trying to get at least one of those 4 legislators to join us in studio, but they declined both last night, this morning, and even at this moment. But joining us in studio right now is Bura Member of Parliament, Ali Wario. Welcome to the program today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for finding time to be here with us.
Thank you.
Very quickly, accusations by the 4 legislators that were ousted yesterday that the executive is interfering with Parliament. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, let me take you back, Maura. One is when we dissolved 13 parties to come with one big party in the name of Jubilee. What is the objective then? And what is the objective now? The objective is to have a political party which has a national image, which in its rank and file will have representation from all areas of Kenya. So when my colleagues say that the executive is interfering with the business of Parliament, really, I beg to understand. Uhuru Kenyatta was not in Parliament with us yesterday. William Ruto was not with us in Parliament yesterday.
But you know, you don't have to be physically there to cause change. You can make a phone call. You can send orders.
I think you appreciate that the current constitutional dispensation, where we have a pure presidential system. At the end of the day, we do appreciate the formation of political party leadership in the House. That is why we have the majority and the minority side of the House. Mheshimiwa Oyo walked late into the meeting yesterday. He said, I was sorry. I was instructed by my party not to attend. Then why are you worried about the instructions, our instructions from the other side?
You've stated that. So from what I can hear from you, and of course I know you also, and I'm guessing next week when the elections do happen, your name will be on as one of the nominees for
definitely
the chairperson.
I'm a candidate.
You're a candidate?
Yes.
Okay. We know that in December, a meeting was held at State House, and the names of those who would be chairs and vice chairs were agreed upon collectively. What happened between then and the election? Because it appears that members at the election either had a different perspective from what we saw yesterday. Where was the divergence if what was agreed at State House was agreed by everyone who was there?
Some members, we happen to come from different backgrounds.
Okay.
Some of us, we are in that house, but we are minority. Others are in the same house with us, and they are from majority. But the leadership of our
But by minority, you mean minority communities?
Minority communities.
Okay.
The leadership of our party decided at the State House then, saying so-and-so should chair
XYZ committee.
XYZ committee.
Okay.
So it depends to party discipline. Some of us, we came from far. We know if we are given instruction by our party leaders, we normally follow that to the letter. But unfortunately, some guys changed the game in between. They colluded with opposition side, given out the post of deputy chair to
like we saw in Labour and Social Welfare
Labour and
Committee.
Social Welfare, which was intended to be for a Jubilee member of Parliament. They decided to give that to opposition and decided to take the chairmanship.
What guarantees do you have that that won't happen again next week?
For sure, it won't happen because the same members who were involved the other time are the ones who voted out, who passed the vote of no confidence yesterday.
Why do you think they have a change of heart suddenly? Have they seen the light?
No, not the light in that sense, but the light in the sense of fairness, the light in the sense of equity, the light in the sense of bringing on board the minorities of this country to a leadership position.
Okay. So you think that has now dawned upon them, and that is why they made those decisions yesterday?
That was the basis of the petition we moved yesterday.
Fair enough. Regional balance, and that's something that many Kenyans have called out for. But another aspect came out in yesterday's events. Under the new constitution, parliamentary committees were supposed to be strengthened. That was one. And these committees were meant to audit government's performance on the sectors of their jurisprudence. Now that government, and we can see Jubilee and government in one sense are almost one, pretty much. How can a government really audit itself if Jubilee, the party, whose leadership is in State House, who are running parliament, how can a body check itself? is the fear of many after what happened yesterday?
Two things. One, we all went to Parliament, we all went to the committees, respective committees, knowing which side of the house we are. You are either in government or in the opposition. And a political, a parliamentary committee is not exclusively a Jubilee committee. There are the opposition members who can raise red flag at any point. So it's not a business of saying Jubilee will oversight itself. That's the House of Parliament. That is, we have representation from both the opposition and the ruling party as well.
Okay. We know that there was a court case where legislators had been reinstated to their House committee leadership positions. What, I'm sure there's been consultation in Jubilee in regards to that. What then happens? Is that case thrown out because it has been passed by events? That was one of the questions that some of our panelists here yesterday were asking, even as the vote of no confidence was happening in Parliament.
Maura, I was in my training, I don't want to really discuss about a matter which is before the court of law.
Okay.
I don't want to say it is going to take this direction, this is the way it is going to. I don't want to go there.
You want to leave the matter?
I want to leave the matter at the court, and then we wait for the outcome. I'm an interested party to that ruling, so I don't want to
delve into it.
Fair
enough, understandable. Let's talk about parliamentary group meetings. We've seen a recent trend where at least one parliamentary group meeting has been held in State House. It is at that location where certain decisions are made, agreements are made as well. Are you comfortable in Parliament knowing that that sort of two independent institutions, but one having to meet under another? Do you not see any worry in the future? And of course, we're talking about some are questioning the fact that the events that we saw yesterday could set precedents for the future.
The Parliament.
Again, no concerns about that.
Parliament.
Yes.
Judiciary, executive. These are pillars of the same institutions of governance. There are the lines drawn between for checks and balances.
And maybe my question should have been, the lines between Parliament and executive are now seeming blurry. It's almost as if...
I don't see it from that angle. Two things. One, look at it from where I'm looking at it. As lawmakers, we make law. The end process ends with the president, who must assent to that particular law.
That's correct.
So you can't say, you can't link the two institutions of governance and say the judiciary to stand on its own, Parliament to stand on its own, and executive to stand on its own. At some point, they have to meet and work together.
Okay. And I guess how that will happen is what we are going to have to wait and see now, even though you promise us that the committees will work independently. Now, some of the legislators state that cartels, they claim cartels have enjoyed sway over MPs in those committees, and the reason why they are being ousted is because they are a threat to those cartels. How would you respond to that?
Well, I'm now serving my third term. I hope you have not heard, Maura, one day I had a scandal.
I haven't heard as of now, but have you seen those cartels? Have you heard of?
When Qatar was threatening, the incident at
the Weybridge.
Weybridge.
Yes.
Who sent him? Which cartel was he representing then?
Well, he's not here to answer. He's not here to answer your question.
If Qatar is the chair, then the success and performance of that particular committee will be 100% and clean. But if he's not the chair, then the cartel will benefit out of the leadership of that particular committee. I mean, I don't buy that idea for all.
Okay. He's not here, so that's again another topic that I won't get further into. Some political pundits reading 2022 affairs in what we saw yesterday. They are seeing that there's an alignment of sorts that needs to happen. There are things that need to happen, and that's why some of the action that we saw yesterday are things we've never quite really seen before in Parliament. Such a direct move, very obvious that the Jubilee Party clearly wants XYZ in these positions and so forth. Again, I want to get your views on this.
You really need to understand why Jubilee Party is saying what it's saying.
Please enlighten me.
Jubilee Party, I earlier mentioned to you when we dissolved 13 political parties to form one to cure the problem of ethnicity and tribalism, which have taken over our political institutions in this country. Two, the regional balance. Look at me, Maura. I'm a minority. I come from a minority community called Orma from Tana River. His Excellency the President can decide to bring on board 20 chairmen from Kikuyu community, 20 chairmen from Kalenjin community. But he said no. let's consider the minorities of this country. What is wrong with that? That is what our constitution envisages. Protection of minority communities.
Protection of if you get that position next week, if all the others that had been slated, Mandera South MP, Adan Haji Ali, Ijara MP, Sophia Abdi, among others, does that mean we now have balance? Is there now regional balance because that has happened?
It's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. Yes, we will be on board, but I cannot assure you of 100% balance. But at least the effort and goodwill is there. The political goodwill is there that the minorities of this country have a share in the ruling party.
Okay. In 2022, if the shoe is on the other foot, if you are the one who gets support from members, but those who are in power are not happy with you there because of regional balance or among other things, will you cry wolf? Will you complain, or will you say, listen, this happened before, it's okay because last time I agreed to it, I was okay with it? Because that is the concern of many, that what might be good for me today might not be good for me tomorrow.
For sure, I lost an election a week ago. Have you heard Ali Wario saying anything negative against Keter or against the ruling party? No. I know the consequences of this game. I mean, I'm not a super member of parliament. We all have our weaknesses and we all have the positive side. So if I will get the chairmanship, well and good. If I don't, my party, the party I believe in, the party which I stood for these years, definitely will have representation there. And it's okay with me.
It's okay with you?
Yes.
Even as I try and wrap one or two thoughts around what we're having in terms of this discussion, keeping the executive in check, what guarantees can you give Kenyans that even as committees are formed next week, that what happened yesterday does not mean that the executive will not be kept in check? I know you've said here, and you've repeated over and over again, that executive, legislature, and judiciary must work together, fair enough. But Kenyans also really hope that Parliament can keep the executive in check. Can you make them that guarantee?
When 2006, it was awarded twice as a quality contributor in that particular house. My stand is none, insofar as representing the Kenyan communities are concerned. We have issues at hand as a committee of Parliament. So take it from me. I know your ears have been filled by the slogan of puppets from Qatar.
No, they have not.
I'm not a puppet of anybody. I'm myself, and it's a matter no accident to be who I am. I don't regret to be who I am. But I do stand my ground and do what is good for this country.
Okay. You have obviously looked at the motion of no confidence in Keter. What were the grounds for his dismissal?
Regional balance.
End of story.
Of course, yes. As a party, that's what we believe in.
Okay. So vote of no confidence, not in his performance, not in anything he's done, but where he comes from.
One thing, in his performance comes the big question of loyalty and party discipline. How do you lead when you don't even respect the decision of the party leadership which brought you there? This is one. Two is the broader outlook of, look at Ruto. Ruto wants to be the president of this country maybe in 2022. Simply can convince the millions in Rift Valley by giving that thing to Qatar. But he stood his ground and said, let's brought on board other Kenyans. Not because we have more votes, but because our face will contribute to the fairness of that particular party.
Okay. But if you put yourself in Honorable Keter's shoes, wherever he is right now, and maybe he's watching this interview, do you think it's really fair on him? He did nothing.
Fair indeed.
He just did what he's supposed to do, and he's been punished for it.
Fair indeed. In party discipline, you don't forfeit the position of party. You don't exchange the rules of the game midway by giving a slot meant for Jubilee to another candidate for you to win a seat. That's not the principles of what believed in.
So he was punished for going behind Jubilee's back and doing his own deals.
Indeed, yes. You have to be disciplined as a party member. There are do's and don'ts. You don't cross over. They also believe in their things. We respect them. Some of them are now signing some funny things. Okay? Then you can't compromise the stand of a political party. Look at our objective. Look at our manifesto. We be fair to Kenyans, regardless of their creed and color, regardless of their ethnicity. You can't change that game in between to suit the opponents of our government, bring them on board, give them a chair, and then do what you have done. I mean, Keter did this, and he should also carry his cross now.
If you carry his cross, meaning you already know next week that even if he puts his name on the list, he will not get that position.
I have not said that, Maura.
Okay.
I have not said that.
You have not said that?
Yes.
Okay, carrying his cross, was he in relation to yesterday?
It means loyalty and party discipline.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
If the party official says this is our direction, this is what our manifesto contains, simply go that route.
And we leave it at that.
Yes.
And even as members of parliament expected, of course, to go back into session from about the 14th of February or so, Kenyans again beginning to wonder if they can trust parliamentarians. First of all, we know that when many of them were barely sworn in, we saw the debate over pay. And now we know that their mileage allowances, again, they have decided to disobey what SRC asked for. Can Kenyans trust parliament?
Maura, the word disobey, there's a court order in place. So don't say disobey, just to correct you.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
There was a court order. We had our stay the other time. We have not disobeyed any order.
Beyond the court order, an economy that's suffering, Kenyans are struggling, and yet what they see from the House, the messages they get, apart from what we saw at the House committees.
Just a while ago, you've been asking me about the independence of Parliament.
But of course, you are accountable to the people. So I'm asking now on behalf of Kenyans.
Just a while ago,
okay,
you are scared. The Kenyans were asking you about the independence of Parliament. It's the same independence we are fighting for. You can't be independent. You know the history of Parliament? When we used to go to Moi's door
to get briefcases
no, to get transport back home. Okay? So that you cannot move laws, you cannot amend laws which affect the executive.
So you feel that some of these recommendations would take you back to those days when you have to depend on others?
Indeed, yes. Look at it. Have you ever heard of a judicial, an executive commission? You have heard of judicial commission? Service Commission, you have Parliamentary Service Commission. Have you heard of Executive Service Commission somewhere? Why? Because they can influence their way in either way. But for us, we have to have that lobby which will stand for our rights.
Okay. And I see where your argument is. I have my own thoughts in regards to the same. But again, as you said, you're following what the court said, and we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. Bura MP Ali Wario, and
thank you, Maura,
to be here with us. We wait and see what will happen next week.
Pray for me.
The viewers will make that decision. Of course, those who will be going to vote will do that as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's now tell you a little bit about what's been happening, both on the local front and the international front as well. We start with matters to do with the Maendeleo Chapter Party.